Curiosity Stream. I'm Alicia Nieves.
And I'm Asia Salacino. Cheddar teamed up with Curiosity Stream to bring you the latest trends, innovations, and breakthroughs shaping our future.
Yeah, check out thousands of titles on science, nature, history, and technology only on Curiosity Stream.
And here's what's on tap for Cheddar Innovates. Up first, we're taking a look at how artificial intelligence is blurring the boundaries between man and machine.
Plus, 3D printing is shaking up just about every industry, but did you know you can get 3D printed vitamins? We will tell you
Huh.
about this new wellness innovation.
And later, we'll learn how one company is ushering hard hats into the 21st century, bringing science and research to the forefront of the construction industry. That's all ahead on Cheddar Innovates.
All right, let's kick things off, though, with some space news. 4 astronauts are on their way to the International Space Station in a historic mission. The group taking off earlier today in a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, astronaut Jessica Watkins is now the first Black woman to go on a long duration space mission. The team will reach the ISS later on tonight, and their arrival comes less than 2 days after a previous space team returned from the ISS following a 2-week mission of their own. Now, the crew 4 astronauts will stay at the ISS until mid-September before another crew then replaces them. This marks the 4th time a full NASA crew has been sent to orbit on board a SpaceX vehicle and is the 7th human spaceflight for SpaceX in the last 2 years. Notable not only for SpaceX and the possible revenue that it generates, for that private company, but really for the reality that when it comes to NASA's kind of program, the cost is what made it prohibitive for the last couple of decades to get more astronauts to go up to space. But with SpaceX essentially inventing what is this reusable rocket, that cost factor is so dramatically lower. So it benefits not only SpaceX, but even for the idea of getting more astronauts to space at a fraction of the cost, and then the developments that come from just the sheer number of astronauts that can get up there and the experiments that can be done.
Yeah, especially because we know NASA and the Pentagon previously were very skeptical about being
Yes.
able to reuse these parts, and they've since changed their stance. So this is big for SpaceX and also historic, of course, because of
Yeah.
Jessica Watkins. So congratulations on shattering
Congrats
that
to
glass
her.
ceiling. Sky,
Yes.
space, truly the limit.
Yes.
And in some nature news, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is celebrating what could be a beautiful future for an endangered species. The service's Red Wolf Recovery Program posted this reveal of a new litter of red wolf pups on Facebook. The litter of 6 pups has 4 girls, 2 boys. The program says they were born at Alligator River National Wildlife Refuge in North Carolina last week. They're the first wild-born litter of red wolves since 2018.
Wow.
Officials say the new litter is renewing hope for survival of the species, a mission for the recovery program since the red wolf was listed as an endangered species back in 1973. And Alicia, I just want to share there were only 8 known red wolves left in the wild, and experts estimated there to be about 15 to 17 total before this new litter of pups was born. Now, that's not in captivity where they do have breeding programs, but still 8 wolves known in the wild before this particular litter of pups is really incredible to think about. So thanks to some of the work that's being done in captivity, hopefully we can kind of regrow this species that was once endangered.
Yeah, and listen, when we talk about endangered species, it's always easy to forget the reality that the food chain is a very real thing and the ecosystem
Yep.
is a delicate balance. So you eliminate, some of these species from the food chain, and it really does have a domino effect that we want to avoid, because in many times that's an unknown effect versus the known that we do know about. So kind of great developments there, and they're just always cute. I was looking at those pups, and then I was looking up images
So
of red wolves,
cute.
and they're just beautiful, beautiful animals.
Absolutely.
All right, let's pivot to the world of science, where a major railway company in Japan has now got the bragging rights to call itself the country's greenest. Tokei Railway says that all of its trains switch to renewable energy like solar power starting on April 1st. And that means the carbon emissions for the company's trains now stands at 0, while green energy is also used at all of its stations, including for vending machines and even lighting. Tokei is the first railroad operator in Japan to have achieved this goal. It says that the move cuts carbon emissions equivalent to those released by 56,000 Japanese households annually. This is obviously kind of a major move, for this railway and for that country, one that you hope spreads beyond just Japan, and it's something that we can see around the world to continue to kind of get to the point where we drive global emissions lower and meet the thresholds that we need to meet to prevent kind of the continued occurrence that is climate change.
100%, Alicia. And also, I looked into this. This particular railway in Japan employs 3,855 people. I think about every corporation that operates
Yes.
with more employees than that and generates more revenue than that. And I hope that they see a story like this and they're urged to maybe make some changes because it is possible on that smaller level.
Yeah, and to your point there, I think it's really important to point out the economy or the business behind it makes sense. So not only is it great for the earth,
Hmm.
but there is good business and fundamentals there too, which we often don't talk about the two going hand in hand.
Yeah. And also, we're learning fast that meteorites have their own stories to tell. One of them could be key to finding out where life on Earth truly came from. This is mind blowing. In a new study, scientists from Japan combined forces with NASA astrochemicists looking for nucleobases, a crucial ingredient for life. Analysis of space rocks that fell decades ago in Australia, Kentucky, and British Columbia proved to contain the five bases that store information in DNA and RNA. And scientists say the discovery suggests mounting evidence that the precursors for life on Earth originally came from space. So essentially, all of the ingredients in DNA and RNA that you need to create every piece of life on Earth
Yeah.
are found in these meteorites. And I just think it's interesting. So this doesn't necessarily mean, we literally came from space, but this is definitely a lot of crucial information and more material for scientists that are studying the beginnings of life to work with. I want to share really quickly. I know we got to move on, but the earlier experiments are so interesting. The scientists created something of a quote meteorite tea. They placed the grains of the meteorite in hot broth to let the molecules of the sample extract into the solution and kind of mimic what they believe could have happened in the initial times of ancient Earth, which I thought was
Wow.
just really funny to think of like an ancient Earth life tea.
It's fascinating stuff. I mean, we always kind of, I think the natural human question or existence questions is figure out where we came from, and now we get closer with some of these kind of findings. Interesting to see how it continues to develop, and if we all are in fact from a galaxy far, far away, and just
Yep.
happen to end up here on Earth. All right, as artificial intelligence rapidly blurs the boundaries between man and machine, we are facing astonishing questions. Bear with me here. One of those questions being, are we witnessing the rise of a new human species? And what are the consequences of creating a mind and a body more advanced than our very own? Curiosity Stream finds out more in a new series, Super Sapiens, The Rise of the Mind. Take a look. So, what we can expect next.
Well, I mean, we're moved into construction because it's a process we can control completely. We've been in bicycle and snow and ski, and it's been extremely successful. But in the construction world, they haven't changed in 50 years, as you were saying. So we want to introduce this tech into the construction world. And then after that, we'll move into other verticals.
Well, by that demonstration and some of that video really shows how critical and necessary these kind of new developments are. Really appreciate you guys coming on the show and the work that you guys are doing, especially when you point out the fact that there are so many traumatic brain injuries in the construction industry. WaveCell co-founders Dr. Michael Botlang and Dr. Steve Mady. Really appreciate your time. I'm going to bring back Asia because that's going to do it for us here on this episode of Cheddar Innovates, brought to you by Curiosity Stream.
And we'll be back next Thursday, 11:30 a.m. Stay with us for more Cheddar up next.